Hey guys, so I have Sector 5 for you now. We're finally through all of the sectors, and this is looking really, really nice. So I'm going to go over the teams that I'm using in this sector. Honestly, this one seems pretty straightforward. The only one I can think of that might be problematic for some people, depending on your roster, is Inquisitor kills, but even then, you're going to be able to cheese it pretty decently. So we'll go over the feats, and then I will show you really quickly which teams that I've been using and having really good success with, based off of the discs that I have equipped. And it should be nice and short, and then we'll be done. Okay, so we have pretty straightforward defeating 50 enemies with Inquisitor units. The upside to this is you don't necessarily have to win for this to count. You just have to get the kills with your Inquisitors. The downside is it's nice to win and progress through the sector if you can. You do want to keep in mind with the defeating 50 enemies ones that discs that inflict dots, so your volatile accelerator, your caustic emissions, discs that throw out thermals like the thermal exhaust, they are going to steal the kills from you potentially. Amplify agony does not steal kills. The damage that's dealt by Amplify Agony does not defeat enemies. It says so right on the disc. So if you have Amplify Agony discs, these are going to be really useful for you to kind of whittle the enemies down in this sector and then just go in with the killing blow. So keep that in mind when you're going through with your disc setup. Okay, win 14 battles with no tanks in your squad. Again, very straightforward, just obviously no tanks. There are a few different ways you can double dip on this. I will say flat out, I'm not going to show you like a Grand Inquisitor or Riva-led Inquisitor team because I think that's a bit of a dick move. But if you were to do that, that's obviously your best way to get the Inquisitor kills, and you would just leave out the tank on that at the same time. And then you have attempting to inflict armor shred 20 times. Again, very straightforward with that one, and gain defense up 40 times. That feat, in my opinion, is the biggest gimme type feat that we have had consistently all through all of the Conquest, but the fact that it's in Sector 5 is huge. It's worth 15 points. Everyone should be doing this feat. It is so easy. So that being said, let's have a look at the teams real quick. Okay, guys, so I want to start with a really obvious feat here. It is defense up 40 times. So like I said, this is a gimme. Everyone should be doing it. And all you're going to do is take your Clone Wars CWC Lead and 4 tanks with him. Does not matter what discs you have equipped, and you just want 4 tanks. I like to take Malik for sure. Bosk is really convenient here, and crew. I usually don't take people that can counter too much. And generally speaking, you do typically lose this fight. I'm just speeding it up here because it's so basic. But basically, Clone Wars CWC is going to give you defense up because of his leadership. And like I said, you do usually lose this, but because I've got Amplify Agony discs and caustic emissions and all of that kind of stuff equipped right now, they are going to do damage to the enemies. And you can win, as you'll see here, with the team. So you can make your way through it. It's not clean by any means, but you also get the feat done in one battle. So I'll take it. Okay, so that is defense up. Like I said, everyone should be doing it. And next, I just want to have a look at no tanks. So obviously, there are many different ways you're going to be able to do this. This was just a good team that I found that was easy to get through Empire nodes, especially with Volatile Accelerator, Amplify Agony, Zealous Ambition, if you have that as well, since they are, some of them are support characters. But it kind of gives the rest of your roster a little bit of a break stamina-wise. And then that way you can still push forward through the sector and get a tick towards those no tanks being on your team, even though you're not really double dipping on anything else, because you do have to do this 14 times. So if you can do it while you're making your way through, in my opinion, it's a lot better that you don't have to go back and finish it up after the fact. If they hadn't killed themselves off as quickly as usual, Raditz generally tends to bring back his whole team, and you do get 3 stars. So keep that in mind as well. I just happened to kill them off a little too quickly. But you can see we do have another no tank win tallied for us. Okay, so let's have a look at armor shred and also no tanks. So we're going to double dip on these here. And in my opinion, I don't think it necessarily matters what team you go against, but if you do see a Grievous one that's got Droideka on it, it's going to be a lot smoother. So I thought about taking JML, and you could, but then I realized let's do no tanks, so we'll take General or Jedi Master Kenobi here. You're going to want Cat if you have her. Gas obviously inflicts armor shred. If you have Cam, he inflicts armor shred. And then I took C-3PO just for the cooldown reduction if possible. I did not take Ahsoka, and the reason why you don't want to take Ahsoka in particular with this, even though she's not a tank, is she's going to assist. So when you are hitting Droideka, she's going to actually strip that damage immunity off of Droideka, which you don't want to happen. So I will speed this up for you because it's pretty straightforward, but you're basically just going to try to land armor shred as much as possible. You do obviously have to instant kill somebody with Cat. I don't recommend it being Droideka because again, we get that defeat or damage immunity there on her so that we can just wail away. And believe it or not, you can land armor shred on Droideka even though it has damage immunity up. So I am just kind of wasting turns at this point. But you do want to just kind of keep going after Droideka whenever you can with that damage immunity. And you will be able to land armor shred when our cooldowns come back around, unfortunately. And you can see that it will eventually just stack up. And again, I definitely don't want to take Ahsoka in this case because she will strip that off of Droideka and then you'll just end up killing Droideka right away. Which if you want to, by all means, it's your prerogative. But if you want to try and get a few extra armor shreds in, then I would just drop Ahsoka just so that she's not assisting in doing that by the natural way of her kit. So we had 0 and after that we're sitting at 6. So it's decent. You do only need to do 20 and you can do it while you're making your way through the sector, which I enjoy. Okay, so let's look at Inquisitor wins or Inquisitor kills, sorry. If you have a full Inquisitor squad, I'm going to recommend that. And I'm going to show you one without Grand Inquisitor or Reva on the team. I like to go against Jedi squads with them in particular. And if you have some Amplify Agony and some Zealous Ambition equipped, they're going to do most of the work for you. You can see Yoda's already in the red there just from taking his first turn. So obviously I do also have Volatile Accelerator equipped. I have a Caustic Emissions equipped. So those discs can steal your kills because the dots popping off when the characters take their turns. So you do want to keep that in mind. If you don't want that to happen, you would want to remove them. But if you just want to make your way through the sector and get some Inquisitor kills at the same time, you can leave them as is. It's also going to count for your unaligned Force user feat for globals, so you're double dipping that way, and that will work. You can also go in again with the exact same squad here, enemy squad that is. So we're going in against Jedi again, and you could do a Emperor Palpatine lead so that you're feeding yourself turn meter, especially if you do have Volatile Accelerator equipped. You'll want that disc on here because the dots are going to feed your character's turn meter and you'll be able to take more turns with the debuffs going out there, plus purge, etc., and getting the kills with your Inquisitors that way. And they're actually less likely to die off from the dots in that case under Palpatine lead because you're taking more turns by feeding yourself turn meter versus them having their own turn meter progress naturally. So you can see we're just going to kill Kenobi right away. And the reason why we're able to do that, just in case you are wondering, is because I do have a Zealous Ambition disc equipped and 7th and 5th are support characters. So they are doing a ton of damage just on their own. So you can see that they've landed the majority of the kills. And then that way we're working through the node as well. You can also do a Traya lead versus Geos. I just did not find a Geonosian node at all in Sector 5, but that does work if you have that available to you. Okay, so the mini boss, it's pretty straightforward. You do have to do it twice because Cal Kestis is an unaligned Force user, so you need to go in with a team that has him survive. We're going to take our Bam Han Chewie Dash team. My Cal is 5-star gear 11, just for reference. I truly don't think the stars are going to make a difference. The gear maybe what is more important, in my opinion, is your disc setup. So again, Volatile Accelerator, Amplify Agony, Caustic Emissions here, and a Zealous Ambition disc. I'm going to get rid of Jedi Knight Luke right away because I don't want him stunning or slowing me down at all. And as long as Dash gets his turn, you just kill everybody and Cal gets to live. So that is 1 feat down. And then the next one is winning without Jedi, Sith, and unaligned Force users, the typical one. So we're just going to go right back in. And General Grievous will work really nicely here. So you can take him. Again, I like to use Newt with him. So I take 4 droids plus Newt as my 5th. And you are just going to target lock the enemies here and just kind of walk all over them turn meter wise, and they will just die off. So same exact discs are equipped. Obviously you saw I didn't change anything. So still Volatile Accelerator, Amplify Agony, a Zealous Ambition, and Caustic Emissions. I do have 1 thermal exhaust on it as well. You can see the thermals there coming up. And that tends to do a lot of help. If they do happen to take a turn, they tend to just blow themselves up. So, all right. So both feats done on the mini boss. And then we can have a look at the boss and we are all done. And you can actually do both of these in one go, since Admiral Trench is not a galactic legend. And that is a bug. We need to do no Jedi, Sith, or unaligned Force users again. So just keep that in mind. I am going to take Grievous again. I thought about doing this in 2 different battles, and then I figured I would just take Trench. He is gear 9, you can see there, so nothing crazy. This is on the Professor X account, so Volatile Accelerator is still equipped. We do have Amplify Agony on this account and a Zealous Ambition disc equipped. There is a Caustic Emissions disc equipped on this, but I do not believe there's thermal exhaust. So just for reference in terms of data discs. In this, you have to target Rey. You can't go around it. So it works pretty nicely that the rest of the team is kind of squishy, to be honest, and you can just AoE them to death, which is fantastic. The fact that you can stun her works great, and she's not going to take a turn. We're going to remove her turn meter here, and she's just going to sit there while we just, win the fight here, and Trench gets to hang out and live. So if you have this, I would highly recommend doing it. You'll get both feats in one go this way. You're going to 3-star the node because no one's taking turns, and you can be done very quickly with Sector 5 this way. And that's pretty much it for Sector 5 and this Conquest run. Okay, guys, that is it. We're through all of the sectors. We're well on our way to Red Crate, Gold Crate, whichever one you're aiming for. Hopefully these were really helpful. I would love to know if you're using other teams. I know some people get really creative, and it's awesome to see other teams working that work with other disc setups or just with other rosters, which is really, really great. If at all this was helpful, I would love to know. And if you are struggling or have questions or you're not sure about anything, if you're not already in the Discord server, the HNN Discord server, it is linked below in the video description, and you can hop in there. There are tons of people who love to give help with Conquest and Feats, myself included. So if you're not there, you're more than welcome to join. And that is it. We're through. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.